Feedback Friday. Hello everybody on YouTube and welcome to Feedback Friday number 2683. This is where we play games made by you. The people, well not you literally, probably. Some of you, a very small fraction of you. But mostly the loads of you who know how to find my Twitch channel, know how to find this form that we're now looking at, and have a game that they want to be played, and also know how to show up, or are able physically or not physically or whatever to show up here at the stream at about 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock on a Friday, which I know is an awkward period of time. But nonetheless, those people who submit a game that follows the arduous conditions of being made by you, being free for me to play and playable on PC, they get their games played, and I play them, we talk about them, I try and give whatever kind of advice I think will be helpful to that person, depending whereabouts exactly they are on their game development journey relative to my weird array of experiences that may or may not be helpful. So the first game we're going to be playing today is one by series regular DaddySuck5000, gets in early every time. He submits to us Dreadtomb. I'm going to play Dreadtomb. This was made for Mix and Game Jam 2020. I'm not familiar with the jam, but here's a game made by that, and this looks pretty cool. How do I... Oh, we can rate it as well? So you want it rating? I mean, I have no, like... Well, we'll see about that when it comes to it. I feel weird about rating a game for a jam if I'm not going to rate other games in the jam, but let's find out how it goes. Save. Extract to... Oh, we should probably make sure we save these to the correct place. Let's just get that. I know we're downloading it twice, but let's just get this out of the way now. Set this to the folder that it will do it every time. Dreadtomb extractor. Boot it up, and I'm going to close my own music so we can enjoy the hot tunes of Dreadtomb. Interesting starting screen. Just some falling lava. New game, continue, quit. Once again, this is DaddySuck's classic menu. I feel like he's used this game start menu more than I have, and I'm the one who originally wrote it for my tutorial series. We're gonna hit new game. We've got a dude, or maybe not a dude. I'm not sure. We have an individual. It has 100 floating, somewhat using the wrong coordinates, I think. Could be some sort of... I'm not actually sure how that works, but we'll go with that. Can we read this? Oh, we got on a... Okay, just clicking once does that entire attack string, so that's the thing. Jump, press space to jump. Okay. Okay, so you told me press space to jump, so I'm gonna come here and be like, okay, there's a platform over here. Oh no! Okay, because you just said press space to jump. With no indication that maybe there's a double jump. Now, in fairness, I'm gonna experiment because I know there must be some way to proceed, and I'm familiar enough with games to think maybe there's a way I can jump again in the air. But not everyone is as familiar with video games as that. So you have to be a little bit careful with those kind of things. So I'm gonna have to assume that these can be stood upon. Very thin, but what's your hitbox like there? Okay. Bit jarring. I know you have got like an in transition here. You can just about see it like fading in like that. But you kind of want... The important thing with the transition is to kind of get the out transition more than anything. So that you have time to digest what happened to you. Like the instant warping back nature here of it kind of makes it a bit more like... You know, you're not really getting a lot of value out of that death transition. If you press E on the sign twice. Well, okay. Well, there's the other problem. There's no indication of how to interact with signs. I had to experiment to even find that. And I just press E and this came up. There's no indication that there's another page, no indication of anything else, so why wouldn't I just walk away? So you're relying on me just like by chance have like it's not entirely like unlikely that I press E again, but like I might not, and that's a risk. Press left mouse button to attack, press right mouse button to block. Can I cancel into block? I can. Interestingly, like if I start an attack then block, and then let go of the attack block, it like starts the attack again. So it can kind of like, this is just me pressing block right now. Like just chaining from attack to block. Just kind of cool strat, I guess, but probably not the intended mechanism. So very little wind up on his attack, making it very hard to actually time a block. So I guess like that's going to lead me to the strategy of block first, wait for the attack to hit, and then assume I'm safe a little bit afterwards. But at least there's a delay, so that like that, I can learn that and that is possible. Oh gosh. Well, I guess I don't really need to fight those guys, do I? So that was some weird level design there. Like, I can't really go back either. Where am I now? Is this a cutscene? Oh, my phone is ringing. Be right back. I'm back. Sorry about that. Where was I? Received some personal news that I'm just gonna have to put to one side as we get back into doing this. Where was I with this? What's going on here? Like we came into this room and it just sort of bugged out. Press R to restart. Okay, so I guess I just got stuck off the edge somewhere with the room transition because oh yeah, I think I walked off the edge. Yeah. or something and got caught on something because I was trying to see if I could go back to the other room to make a comment about it, but you can't. So if you walk to the right here, it screws up. So no, it was not good news. Some sad family related news, but it's okay. It's something that I'll have to call some other people about later. But for now, we need to get back into what we're doing. And I need to wait until all these axe demons murder me, so I can press R and start this again. Okay. So, yeah, I want to talk about the level design of that other area, but let's wait until... These are just going to form an infinite chain of attacks that I can't really deal with. Oh, but then we can do that. Oh, interesting. Like, if like the remainder of that attack that plays doesn't actually do, like, a collision. So, like, I'm not hitting them, I actually have to click it again. So it's like playing the animation, but like you're out of the attack state. So I think you're just not resetting your animation right when you're going into whatever your block state is or whatever. Honestly, like I would take your double jump out. Like what's there for? Like your jumps aren't exactly complicated or anything. Jump down. There's nowhere that requires you to like jump and then change trajectory again mid-game and then I'll restart. Maybe I was not meant to actually jump down. Can we continue? No, but it's too far to reach. I guess that's the end. Okay, that's the end. So, yeah, there's some issues with like your attack state going between like an animation. So you go into the attack state. It's quite like that block animation's quite cool. I like how that like just like just coming back like that, and that you can cancel into it from the attack is nice. But when you do that, you need to make sure that you're preparing to then go back to your neutral state afterwards, not back into the attack. Like it goes back into playing the attack animation. So you need to make sure that like you don't just go back to whatever animation you were in before. You need to make sure when you go back to the neutral state from the block state, you're setting yourself back to your neutral animation. Attack had some feedback when it was hitting, so it was nice seeing those blood sparks come up or whatever, because then I could actually tell that the bug was like happening, and that I wasn't actually dealing any damage to things. But you probably want like some sound effects, maybe make the enemies flash. You probably want something to happen when you get hit as well. And also maybe like animations and sound for the block as well to show that you successfully blocked an attack and that kind of thing. It's tricky to get all these things right, but they are necessary. Obviously, you were doing a jam. You don't have that much time. But with the level design that you had there, obviously there's not like a lot of levels or anything like that. You had no need to put in a double jump, right? That was basically a waste of time for what you did here. You could have just had smaller gaps or a bigger jump. There was no need to add the complexity of, oh, you can jump in midair, which is not really an intuitive thing. Right, it's intuitive for gamers who've played a lot of games that have double jumps, because a lot of games have double jumps because they allow you to do more interesting like patterns of level design. But if you don't have those patterns of level design and those complex in-air movements that you actually need to do, you don't need a double jump. So I would not bother doing that if you're doing a simple set of like a handful of levels, right? And they're not actually going to make use of that stuff, especially when you've probably focused more on doing all the melee combat stuff and getting that to work, and like the jumping doesn't play a role in that, right? I think you could zoom in your game here a bit as well. Like you've got a lot of like a huge view that you probably don't need. Like your screen size could probably be like like something like this instead, right? Where you can kind of see everything that's important to you and where to go, and just like draw more attention to. Like these quite nice, like detailed sprites are in. I don't know if you drew them or whatever, but they're nice sprites. And that shows them off a little bit more. You just get more bang for your buck on screen real estate than like if you're super zoomed out and everything's just really small and far between, right? Oh, the 100 following you around. Yeah, it's something to demonstrate your health is nice. I don't know. It does its job, I guess. Yeah, I think I would focus on screen composition, level design, and the game feel, as it's called, of your attack and blocking. Your attack being like a full swing animation from one button. It's like okay because you actually do like you're able to cancel until a block so you can come out of it, or like by moving or whatever, I think. But you might want to look into just how you can do the slash. You can split that into 3 different animations and then like combo from one to the next kind of thing. My melee tutorial that I have on YouTube shows you how to do that, how to go from like one slash into another type of slash into a third type of slash, like if you chain them together. So that's something that's not too hard to do. So I recommend probably looking into that. And generally just like that, the hit and feel of like the blade hitting, the block landing, and so on and so forth, just putting in the sounds, the flashes, and all that kind of thing, get you a lot of value. The attacks of your enemies have very short like build-up windows, but again, it's fine once you get used to that being how they attack. It probably means you're going to get a bit screwed up by them the first time you fight one, which I kind of did. But then you kind of know that they attack fast, but then they have a big gap afterwards. So like you learn the strategy. There's a valid strategy for fighting. I don't think that's a problem. So yeah, screen composition. Everything's a bit too small and a bit too zoomed out. If things are going to be those kind of sizes, you probably want to zoom in. Level design, everything's a bit too just spaced out, wild and random, and like you didn't need a double jump. There was a bunch of enemies in a place that you never actually had to get to, like why are they even there? If you're going to be linear, then just focus on the linearity stuff. Don't just add stuff where it doesn't need to be or doesn't do anything. And game feel, right? So those are your big 3 things. That was cool. Should we rate it? I like the art, it's just the composition of it isn't great. It just kind of needs some zoom in and stuff like that. Sound, there's not enough. You needed sounds for all the attacks and stuff landing and stuff like that. There you go, that's my rating. The Cold Climb by RonHobbyDev. Platformer, Save the Lost Explorer. Also, please read the description on itch, okay? The complete opposite on a 270. Yeah, I can't wait. You let the Lost Explorer home. Have we played this? I feel like we played this a while ago, so this might be an iteration on one. This is the one where like you turned blue and like you jumped like after a length of time or something like that. In case I happen to be Sean Spalding. Thanks for the feedback you gave last time. It was feedback Friday 5, times out 3 hours. Oh, that's useful. The jump used to be on a timer. You suggested giving the player control of the jump, which I did. Suggested that the gameplay was too shallow. Now you can jump and climb and jump, so that's no longer the case. Okay. You said to fix the mixels. I think I got them all. There's a pixel font. I said to make your art style coherent. There's a difference, okay? But hopefully that's what you've done by fixing the mixels. Could be one way to do that. Snow seemed a bit static. Now use a particle system. You suggested checkpoints. They're in. You suggested I move on to a new game, which this kind of is. I like that comes here at the end here. It's just like, I've done all these like changes. But you also just suggested I start something else. Alright, let's give it a whirl. My administrator requires a security. No, I am the administrator. I do not require any such scan. Run the game. Full screenery. Resolution. Dare we? How are you not going to have pixels and give me the ability to set a resolution? I'm going to go with whatever the default is. I mean, you've not... I mean, well... I mean, just look at this screen. Like... Right? I mean, even just right here, you can kind of see, like... You know, like... Yeah, it's like... Because it's... This is what I mean, like... It's hard to describe exactly, but you can see it here. Like, you know, you've got big... Why are these big chunky square edges, right? Is the font itself called Mixels? I don't know, it feels like you're not using, or whatever the font is, it probably has a size it's designed for that you might not be using. I like that move using thing at the start here. Oh. I don't remember there being any kind of like story or anything before. So cold. Capitalization weird there, but... Righto, that's cool. It was a good scene in general. I don't think like just the snow particles like get you out of having to do any kind of background, but it almost works. I think maybe if you put like a fog or something over the top and like vignetted out, you might get away with that empty space a bit more or something like that. But I'm not sure exactly how I would do that. So the problem I have with these mountains is that they okay. Wow, that is a super committed jump. Interesting. You can see the triangle you've drawn, you know? A bit too obviously. Which could be a style in and of itself, but then you see how the snow you've put on top is like all like... You tried to be like varied, random, and organic with it at the bottom. Like here. Like this is a mismatch with this like hard straight line. This is what I'm talking about with coherence. Why mixels themselves aren't necessarily the problem, because this is hypermixeled, but like kind of works, right? It's like the thing that crashed because it's like rotated, right? So like, I don't know. I take some issue with it, but I take a lot less issue with this than I do with this, and this doesn't even really involve mixels. What happens if I fall to my death? Okay. It's very slidey. And you gotta be careful with this, because maybe that's intentional and like that's part of the design, but like you need to get to why that is quite quickly if you're going to have a control system like this, because otherwise it's going to feel to people playing it like, oh, this just isn't built very well. That pixel effect's kind of cute. It's weird. It looks a bit like a flamethrower more than a fire, but the look is nice. I wonder if that's some sort of particle effects designer thing. Like, I did commit jump arcs, but this is a bit, like, long, you know? Okay. Don't really feel like I did much, but alright. I felt like still part of the introduction more than like a level, but we'll take it. We run out of music? Okay. Oh no. Oh no. You might need to come up more as well, I think, like over like with your parallax thing, because like they're down there at the bottom. And I guess if I don't know, you're trying to imply we're high up. I suppose. Okay. Like I jumped very high. Just the spikes on here just to be like, yeah, you can't go up here. You could have just built like a big wall up. Might have been simpler. God dang it. I think one of the issues here is that like you see the failure right away, but you have to watch it play out really slowly. Like, oh no, I've missed. God damn it. You could get away with faster jumps than this. Like I know, maybe I think maybe you're overcorrecting for the committedness of it being part of the like being like added challenge. So like, oh, we need to make some element of it easier. So let's make it like really like long and slow, predictable arc. But I think you could get away with being quite a lot faster. Paint a pickaxe. Obtainted. We obtainted a pickaxe. Okay. Wanna clue me in on what that means? Is this just like making myself warmer? Maybe, although that hasn't proven to be a mechanic or anything that's been explained so far. Okay. Can we only climb these yellow walls? Is that... Okay. Oh, okay. So we're kind of entering into a climbing state. I feel like not enough explanation is probably given there. Any reason that you have to press F? Maybe just automatically put people in that state. Also, can I climb on the other side? Yes. Okay. Something I was thinking like maybe it was by the fact that there was yellow brick blocks over there. So you might want to like tell me about it whichever wall I approach. Now I kind of know. I want to know what happens if you climbed up the. Yeah, I want to know actually. Yeah. So what like. I mean, I like having control over the jump, but now it's just like a platformer with a really slow committed jump. You know? Am I just gonna die from having gone off screen? Am I still moving? I can't really tell. Probably want to do something there, like even if you show me not moving anymore or whatever is actually happening. Because I just kind of go off screen and then like I'm blind, so I don't know. Moving? I mean, this adds an extra button I can press with certain jumps, and it's like an interesting way to explore. Not really sure this adds any actual depth to... I don't know. I mean, honestly, like, just a long committed jump arc is more interesting than, like, a timed jump. For sure, but... Because that's like, oh, I calculate, you know, I'm working out where I want to stand and what speed I want to go, do the thing without any of the dumb waiting involved in a timed one. Committed jump arcs are an interesting mechanic. Committed jump arcs, I see. Is that what I said? I hope that's what I said. Well, we'll see how this develops. Okay. So that's interesting. Well, potentially is interesting. It depends how it gets used, really. Uh-oh. Like, yeah, this just, I feel like this just doesn't need to take as long as it does, you know? Honestly, feels weird how high he goes as well. Like, if he has, like, further horizontal momentum, he probably doesn't need, like, the same kind of absurdly low gravity. I get that there's kind of a niceness of to it feeling slow in, like, an atmospheric kind of way. Which would work if you had like these strong breezes playing all the time or whatever, you know, like kind of like the bit from Celeste or whatever, where it's like starting to get like it's like a constant breeze, and that kind of like would play into why it feels sort of slow. You have that kind of like inner blizzard atmosphere. Because before, like your mechanics were tied to the whole like feeling coldness, right? I feel like that kind of feeling's gone away a bit. I mean, it didn't really make sense before, but it was there, you know? I like that you take a little bit of time to draw attention to the death happening. It's a little bit crude, but it's there. And like exactly like where you hit and what went wrong. But honestly, everything's so slow in this game, like you can see it pretty clearly when it happens anyway. Am I even going anything approaching the right way here? Oh, am I just going backwards? Oh, I am, aren't I? When did I start going backwards? Yeah, I don't hate the slowness, but I think you can do more to atmospherically make it feel appropriate. Like, it feels wintry, but like it doesn't really feel like cold and blizzardy anymore, you know, which I feel like was what you were going for. And like, honestly, having such a powerful jump kind of also takes away from that a little bit. Like, so I feel like you want less gravity, or rather more gravity. So like your jump isn't quite as like moon jump. It feels like you're on the moon a bit, rather than like it just feels a bit slow. But I think your jump could be way faster. Uh-oh. Okay, what does that do then? It just slows you down. Okay, and like you can't do that while you're doing like any of the climbing and jumping stuff. Okay. This tutorializing is good, like the text just appearing and disappearing when things are contextually relevant. Or so what? Okay, it actually makes you drop. Alright. Bit of level design confusion here. Which way do I go, you know? My assumption is right because there are more platforms over here, but like, what's the point of this platform? You can actually use being cold to do like precise jumps. Oh no, you can't jump when you're cold. Okay. That's a shame almost, actually. With the current setup. Nah, nah, nah. Okay, yeah, this is now I was actually like, yeah, it's reminding me, especially with that movement. Don't know if this was part of what I recommended before, like, that bit from FF7 where you're climbing the mountain. I probably brought that up. I don't know. I've brought it up a few times before with different games, but it feels a bit like that. Only actually meaningful, whereas in FF7 it didn't mean anything. I feel like you wanted to go for just a cold feeling, and that's why you wanted to make it feel slow. But the jump feels just way too springy for that. It just more feels like you're on the moon. That was your inspiration, okay. Where do I go? Do I go down? Nope. Do I go down in here? Nope. So why are all these different paths? It looks like I could go up here, but I couldn't find... I don't think you need this really slow acceleration. You could just move slow. Rather than have to, like, every time we want to start moving. Nah. Yeah, like there's something now with like these combinations and combination of mechanics. Like the execution isn't amazing, and the level design doesn't really take much advantage of it. But there's a lot more here, like in terms of its potential, than there was before. I think this is where I was supposed to be. Really? Can't. There's an invisible wall there. Ugh. It's an entranceway. Right, so it just looked like a wall. Yeah, like, the slowness isn't the issue, I think. But I wouldn't have, like, a slow acceleration. Just have a slow max speed. Like, the max speed that you move at is, like, would be fine to just be, like, your fixed speed. In a way, it's like you have a stamina system, but just given a different context, right? You just have like it's basically like a climbing stamina system. Only you press a button to restore it when you're on the ground, which is like an extra step. But given the context, I kind of don't mind it. I think we'll leave it there as we get. I think I get the vast majority of this now. I'm sure maybe some more stuff I want to see or whatever, but sure, I was probably very near the end as well because that always happens whenever I do this. But yeah, I think it's a marked improvement from what I remember of it before. I like the scene at the beginning; looks quite nice. Works quite well. I think everything about its execution is a little bit rough, but it's along a lot better lines. Yeah, you jump and your movement feels too floaty and low acceleration, and it just feels like a pain to work with. And therefore just doesn't really feel very fun because it doesn't feel responsive. The committed jump art thing I think is cool. That's fine. I think I'd rather see a jump art that looked a bit more. I don't know. So your jump art currently is like a really slow, like. Or like if you're running, it's like a. I think you could get away with, like a bit being a lot fast, like over less frames as well. Like this would be over something like, I don't know, like 4 seconds. So I don't know, 4 times 60, 120 to like 240 frames. Like I'd want to see something like this in 60 or less, probably. Right? I don't think there's any way you particularly needed the huge height jump, especially once you've got the climbing thing going on anyway. So get it. I think the first thing you'd want to do is work on getting this feel to be better. Making it feel a bit less floaty and so on. I think you can lean on the slowness to a degree. I think you'd be surprised in terms of the level design, but you'd want to do this stuff first so that then you know what to do with the level design. The level design's bad anyway. You need to redo it all anyway. To be frank with you. Some bits of it are okay, like little wall jump bits are kind of satisfying. There's just not much to it, and it's just sort of a slow drudge to get through for the most part. It's just a lot of just slow jumping over gaps. It's artificially long as a result of that, because it just takes so long to move around and work out jumps and things like that. I think there's potential to add interesting things with the wall jump and stuff like that. I think you might need a more bigger variety of obstacles. You've got spikes and things. You could do a lot with that. Moving platforms and things would be a big one, but that might be a bit much for you at the moment. So the level design is bad. It's bad in a relative sense, by the way. It's not like definitely not the worst I've ever seen. It's later levels do right, but I'm not gonna get there because like I mean part of that is down to this. You either bring it well, you need to do both. You need to bring it further forwards and also make everything feel better and a bit faster. If you want to lean into the slowness of it, then you definitely need to bring all that stuff further forwards so we get there quicker. And lean into creating the atmospheric sense of slowness. So, you know, like creating like a really, like rather than just like these gently falling snowflakes, you want to create like an over the top kind of overlay of like them like blasting you whichever way you're going. And maybe the character walks with like his like hand in front of his eyes, you know, like to keep the snow out of his face. Like he's like there's clearly a struggle in his movement, you know. Whereas you've just kind of got like a jovial, springy boing, like Mega Man run. Acceleration, deceleration, though, I think like you're using those to convey the slowness, whereas I would just use a fixed speed to convey it. Yeah. I don't think this would actually cause you to rebalance a lot. At all, really. Yeah, I think you'd be surprised. All good ideas, but I think this project has gone on too long. Also, a very, very valid position to take. But I'm just saying that these are the changes I would make. If I were in a position of making changes and wanting to improve this game. But it's impressive nonetheless the amount of improvement you managed to put in over the old one. I think like the ideas are all there. It's just it's experience and practice and time really that's going to make it a lot better. Experience, knowledge, practice. Like those are the things that are hard to, you know. I can't give you enough suggestions to manifest that in you. That's just a matter of making more games, doing more things, playing more stuff, and developing an eye for these things over time. In that regard, I think you've probably improved this as much as you could reasonably have been expected to. So well done. I feel like I had a lot of other things to say because there's a lot of improvements. So like I wanted to talk about as many of them as I could. And overall, like something, yeah, like the text was kind of bad and like the backgrounds are bad and so on. But like generally speaking, the art style is mostly pretty coherent. Like it works out. Cool. Next up, Evil MSPaint from Benjamin Halko. I love it already. I have short description. I have no comments. Okay. Golly. DVD. Watch as an evil cursor destroys all your beautiful drawings. Cooltext.com, aka Microsoft Paint turned evil. Have you ever wanted all of your hard work to get destroyed? No, not really. Well, now your dream is a reality. Oh. Are these like related things? Doggo Quest. Every single time I come here, like I look at these things, I'm like, I want to play all of these. Look at this. What's this? Sorry, I feel this is rude to the game I'm meant to be looking at now, but what's this? Longhouse, defend your home on a floating island. This will no way be anywhere near as fun as it looks, will it? But it looks cool. Anyway. Evil MSPaint. Yeah, well done. I think it's the right decision. RonHobbyDev. I think it's the right decision for you to move on to a new thing. But nonetheless, I could even see you gaining something out of continuing to improve that because I feel like you gained a lot out of the improvements that you made, like going from the first version to the version that you have now. So I think you've probably gone quite a lot out of it. I agree that you'd probably get diminishing returns, like continuing to try and just improve on that one thing, and probably just go mad. So make another thing sounds like, yeah, spot on. Yeah, that absolute right idea. But still, nonetheless, I think you did a really good job. Anyway, watch as an evil cursor destroys all of your beautiful drawings. Dark mode on, off. On by default, I guess. Difficulty normal, easy, hard, chaotic. Oh, golly. Oh, okay. We just start sort of drawing. What's that about? We can like move stuff? Okay. Not gonna lie, this is not how I remember MSPaint working, but so what? Ah! It's cute. But I can just make more life. So if that like represents my life or whatever. I can see my frame rate dropping more and more though as I start to like grab bigger more and more chunks. Doesn't seem to quite know how to be. No! I mean, I don't know. There's just like cool effect. And we just make some decoys. Oh. No. Quit it. Quit it. Okay. That's like the same or a very similar icon to me, which is kind of a cool look. Well, this looks like one of them. Yeah, okay. That doesn't last very long to be very threatening. So far, this is the most interesting one. I'm like, oh god, dodge all the things. Maybe a bit too intense. Does this just sort of go on like this forever now? Does anything happen if everything gets wiped out? Also, if I lose focus, does it crash? Oh, impressive. Most impressive. Oh, I like colors than whatever the color that thing is. We still have this. You are not defeated this tiny pixel. So it seems like more of an experiment than like a total game. I feel like there's no like totally coherent game idea here, but like it's a pretty effect. Sort of concept. Try chaotic mode. No, F. What should I draw? Draw like the Game Ego logo? That's not even right. Ugh. It's pretty. Um. I was busy drawing! Neat. Really, you just make a really small thing, right? And then you just avoid everything. That's a game that just wants you to lose your things just to show off the pretty effects, right? It's more of like a weird art tool than a game. I like the surface effects and stuff are really cool. I don't think it works as a. I don't. I mean, I struggle to work out how it could be like a game. I get the idea, like, yeah, draw something and protect it for as long as you can or whatever, right? But that, I suppose that would imply you're moving the whole thing rather than moving little, like you can split it into chunks and stuff, right? And move them around in that kind of way. I guess that kind of defeats the, like, you can just draw multiple things. It'd be fun to like draw little units or something that, like, I don't know, like turn into little tanks or whatever that fight a thing, and then slowly get blown up. Like if it just like if I draw a little thing that's like a cannon, and then I like start like moving around by itself, shooting at stuff. I mean, there's game ideas here, I guess. And the effects are really nice. You'd want to make sure they were very sustainable. Like I noticed, like I don't know, I drew a thing made out of lots of different bits, and it was starting to really chug when I right click and let go of right click, because it like possibly works with quite a lot of surfaces at once or something. I'm not sure. So you'd want to like perfect that tech. Yeah, that's chugging. Well, I suspect very few object instances. I suspect this is mostly surface based. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say about it, really. It's cool. um, I don't know if I would. I like. First of all, like obviously, if you do take this anywhere else, I'd probably drop the references to MSPaint. Like I kind of get it, but firstly, you know, trademark software. Secondly, I honestly don't really see much of a link. Like that's more just like a drawing. Like I get it because it's like a simple drawing tool. Like you've made that link, but yeah, I don't know. I'll reset. I like the I some of the things that are really cool in this are like how it starts. I was like, how do you start? And I just draw somewhere. I'm like, oh yeah, and it's like kind of cute and elegant in a few ways like that. I'm not sure what to get the DVD logos about, but it's cool. Yeah, I like it. That's good. I mean, as a joke, but I mean, I don't know. There's some cool ideas in there. Longhouse is not a game we're going to be playing. Oh, yeah, it's still JRPG demo version. TerraNova, Legend of the Ruins. Okay. What are the bets now? That this is the demo version of a JRPG that is way too large and heavy in scope for whoever is making this. What are the bets? I would do like a poll. Let's I don't know. Let's straw poll this. Hang on. Be reasonable. Whole team. Uh, Answer the straw poll, and I will be right back. I'm getting a drink. Back. What do we reckon? What does chat think? All right, pretty even split actually. Pretty even split. Well, 5 votes, but actually reasonable. If I knew how to do the thing where I gifted subs to the chat, I would offer it as a reward for getting the vote right. But I don't know how to do that. Yeah, that's a lot more optimistic than I expected. And we're still downloading. Wow. Okay. Why is this downloading so slow? Still 31 out of 100 meg. Just watch this download, I guess. Could happen, Pixel Trash. Could happen. I don't know who 2D Knights is, so you know. It could be anyone. We take games of all levels in here. We sometimes see super polished complete things. But I just have a suspicion, because I've seen plenty before of JRPG demos coming in here. Whose scope is just way too big. And as such, like, they actually probably have a lot of content or could build a lot of the content, but like it's with bare bones levels of polish, you know? It's like they get one or the other. They get like a tiny amount of super polished content or a huge amount of really quite weak content, you know? Should know that this is just something with probably the website. Um, the their website is probably just like a slow connection to my ISP or whatever, right? This is why I've downloaded way bigger games way faster. So is it getting slower? 10 minutes left. Do I need to put tribal tension up while this game downloads? Judy Knight sounds familiar as a name, so I feel like there's some, I don't know. So I'm not saying this file is called TerraNova Switch. Now I want to go to the website, but I feel like it'll give away. It's going to give away the answer to the poll if I go to the website. So I don't want to spoil it. I think we just want to open the game. I want to know if the 42% are right. No additional votes. I'm getting there now. 2 minutes left. I'll start playing Chill Hop for a bit or something. Well, we just relax and download. I'm not dropping any frames, please, while getting there. Not secure. Gosh, get on that, 2D9s. Friday it is, Boker Egg. Friday it is. Never trust the Friday stream has a fixed start time. I wish it did. It has a close to fixed start time, somewhere in the region between 12 and 2 UK time. I aim for between 12 and 1. Taking its time, man. There's definitely room, I think, for a game that would be really good that used all the RPG Maker default assets. That could be a game jam. RPG Maker default assets jam. I'm sure it's been done. Built-in assets only. With many of those, yeah, not surprised. God, I want to do that now. Make an RPG Maker game. That sounds fun. I loved RPG Maker. I haven't really used any of the new ones, but I used to play around with like 2000 and 2003. And then they added all the cool scripting stuff as well, but like I couldn't learn how to use it at the time. It didn't make any sense to me. It was too big of a jump for me at that time. Like I barely knew how to use Game Maker and stuff back then. Let alone how to code in Ruby or whatever it was. CSV data, interesting. Oh, hang on. This looks good. Have I seen this game before? No, I don't think I have. I think though it might have done the Game Maker bug. No, okay, I was thinking that might full screen it, but did not. Can I full screen? Oh, Alt-Enter does full screen, okay. That font at the top. It's a bit rough. My classes are customizable. Skips scenario and jump right into gameplay, players' classes. So this is a weird compromise. Could you not decide which one of these you preferred? Gosh, okay. Okay. From the same point in the track as well. Which is more finished? You completely switching game. This looks better to me. It's weird how it showed, like, I would expect it to show each version, but it's like showing both images as showing the same image, regardless of which I'm highlighting. Or based on which I'm highlighting, you know? That looks prettier. This sounds prettier. In my opinion. I'm digging this. Filter. Try how I feel about these big things of text. Let me quiet this down a little bit. It's a bit loud. Tell me if it's a bit loud for you guys, because I can turn it down on the thing. It looks okay. The levels look okay, but it was loud coming out of my speakers. Yeah, well, it's none of that nonsense. Man, that's a lot to select. I get customizing the experience, but I'm like, I don't know, what do you think is good? I think that comes down to me as a player though. Like, I'm like a player that like very conservative when it comes to like mods and stuff like that. I'm the kind of player who just wants whatever the dev's intended experience is. And so like, I have a worse reaction to these kind of like million choices than most people necessarily would. I don't know about that yet. 89. I'm talking about whether the scope is reasonable, not whether it's good. Plan your actions, then combat runs. Because so far, like this is not making a good case for your scope. But we'll see how it goes on. Turn-based file. Wait period based on agility. When this perios ends, fighters can take an action. Oh, right, okay. My brain is fine, but this is obviously, yeah, it's TPS, ABS. Alright, yeah, action pipe. So is this being built as just like one giant love letter to old JRPGs? And that's why like, well, we want to do 8-bit, but we also want to do 16-bit, and we all want to do turn-based, but we also want to do 8-bit. So we're going to do everything. What do I press? Z. Okay, it's one of them. Alright. Little thing in the corner or something like that. Be like, press this button to proceed. Might be useful. Press tab. Q. Alright. I'm not gonna lie, this is a closer call than I was expecting. Burning Sky event. Something something Goba Mines. Might just be it being full screen, but I'm finding the text a little tricky to read. Can I increase the text scroll speed? No, I can skip. Okay. It's a good skip as well. I'm not really following the story, but I always find it really hard to follow like complex JRPG stories in these streams. Team of 4. Okay. Okay. Blue. No sounds or anything here? Yeah, I could see that. Like T-Hawk. You've done a bit of a worrying, like, males are intrinsically better at certain roles than females thing going on with these characters, but we'll gloss over that for the time being. Well, this is kind of cool. Probably I don't know, maybe this is something for a menu later rather than just right away, but especially if I'm going to have to do a whole bunch of these. Cool feature though. It's definitely looking a bit it's feature rich, but I'm starting to get a bigger picture of this now. Okay. Like, well, I guess I'll make a female cleric. Oh, Femme Claire. It's gonna go with Cleric, but alright. It's definitely not the first. It used to be a very common thing way back when, the Mr. TKA4, but we kind of grew out of that because it has. It's it's based on. We do it because of like we absorb it from culture, um, and we like reflect those things and thoughts and ideas into the games that we create. But it's not really. I don't know. There's right and wrong ways to go about that kind of thing, in my opinion. And the first, in fact, the first RPGs that started to do away with that kind of thing kind of made a big show and dance of it as well. If you play something like the older Baldur's Gates and stuff like that, like when you make when you pick between agendas, it's very clear and upfront, saying that like your agenda has no impact on your abilities. Blah 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 blah. Sure, Dawson. We just want to get playing, so let's just Biomagus. That's interesting. Half-naked thief. Makes them faster. Wear less clothes. The problem with doing that kind of thing is it lends because people play games in a very like we tend to optimize, you know, and you don't. I don't know. You don't want to create the thing where like playing the female knight is like a challenge mode or whatever, you know. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like if you make one gender better or one thing, you're gonna have most people just play it that way, right? Because we go, well, they're better at it, so we'll pick them for the better ones, you know. I don't want to make a bigger thing of this than it is, but it it is a thing. And I suspect it might not be received well by a lot of people. And I say it's not a big thing. It's not a big thing from my single perspective. You have your orders. Travel to the Republic of Iberia to enter the south and find a way to enter the Goba mines. You can catch a ship at Roseport to the east or travel over the land to the west. The choice is yours. Okay. I'm not going to remember this. Alright. Just give me the funds. Why did you put them over there? Why don't you just have them? Oh, so I wasn't playing as this guy, he just like assembled the team. Now I am the team. I like the idea of this, and like you create something that's... You're just kind of trying to create like a definitive old school JRPG experience rather than like having a particularly individual unique idea here. Because nothing in here is like unique or necessarily, right? But it's just like you're trying to create like a high quality, like universal JRPG experience. There's more than just Twitter. I don't really care what Twitter thinks. It's like the last thing you. What was I saying? Do I get a run button or anything? Oh, X also interact. Oh yeah, okay, X also does that. Cool. Like, I don't like it as a design choice. I feel like I want to make that clear. It's not the biggest issue for... I just mean it's not the biggest issue for me personally in the world. But... it's, like, mildly annoying, you know? Because it means I'm going to create a team that looks like every other team I've ever created in, like, old school RPGs for, like... years, and it's really, you know, I played RPGs, like, you know, when you know, you have what is it, FF5 or whatever, you've got like 2 females, 2 male characters. Every time I play that, or played it when I was younger, you know, I default to giving the males the upfront, like, strong offense, melee oriented classes and jobs, and give the females like the cleric spells or the casters and stuff like that, right? Because that's culture. That was, you know, that was what media and culture and art that I had consumed, and the environment in which I had grown up, the culture within I had grown up had convinced me was just the standard way of things. But it is not only a little bit boring, but also just not really accurate. And I appreciate the desire in some way, I don't think it comes from like a bad place. Like, you want to add variety and you want to make your choices meaningful. So it's like, oh, do I pick this one or this one and put a tactical choice in it? I just wouldn't do it with gender for like a million reasons. I don't know. I think it's unwise. I would assume yourself to always... I always like to assume myself as culturally compromised when it comes to things like gender. So, like, I try to keep my own values and thoughts and stuff away from it. And keep it neutral, where I don't know what I'm doing. Is there anything I can find in here? Ugh, that's weird. Kind of on the tower there. I think it's a bigger... No. I mean, I know I said it wasn't a big deal. I think it's a bigger deal than most people would like to think it is. Why would you talk about hidden goodies and then not put, like, an example hidden goodie? Now I'm like... Cool transition. Why snail with tits? Okay. Why? Why? I'm like, just every little, like, I don't know. This game's starting to ooze a bit of unpleasantness. Which character do I have? Oh, right, there's an arrow there. Strike. Maybe I should put it on timed. I feel like I'm not fast enough for this. It's very quick. Because sex sells, terrible reason. Sells to a specific audience. And I honestly don't believe people who say that that's why they did it a lot of the time. Gaston Bridge. It's not about making it vanilla. Like, it's not a choice between tits and nothing. You make a cool enemy without being like, and look, you can fuck her. You know, like, it's like, that's not what I'm here for, you know? Anything that men think is cool eventually raises the question of, oh, but can I fuck it? You know, and it's just a bit... Sorry, I should probably rereading this. I like that laugh. It's a cool little throwback to, what was it? Well, FF5 actually had that style. Thing is, I feel like you probably don't want to have this much writing if you're going with generic characters. Wait, what, are we just paying them now? That was a weirdly long conversation that should have just been, give us your money, and then immediately cut to the fight. Like, there was no need for all of that. I don't know what any of these things do, there's no description of any of them. I kind of gained them all way too quickly, it feels like. I get that it's a demo and you want to show off a lot of the stuff, but generally, you know, you probably open with less abilities, less characters, less stuff going on right away. Because I'm just kind of like, try this one! The actual scenarios named characters, then what's this about? Why is this all customizable and stuff? If you're doing a demo, you want to get across what your game is going to be. If the whole game's going to be different for this, then that doesn't really serve its purpose, right? Probably be easier to just write character level up rather than like number to number as well. You idiots got lucky. Of course it does. Choice of FF1 versus FF6 like experience. Okay. Still, I think like if you're going for this sort of, well, I mean you clearly are going for this kind of game that's like a all the JRPG things at once, you know, like then you've got to make some compromise somewhere. Like you just, like I think the thing to do would probably be to have less writing than, you know, because the writing here isn't very good as is, and there's spelling mistakes everywhere. And I would probably, it would make your life a lot easier, I think, if there was less on like the whole. Oh, okay, that's less on like the characters and like storyness of it, and just like make some of the conversations a bit quicker. Because like it took like there were quite a lot of text boxes to get through, and also it crashed. So with this straw poll, I don't know. It wasn't as simple as this. I don't think it's overscoped, but I don't think it's reasonably scoped either. Uh, there's a lot to do here. But I mean, you've got a good foundation of stuff here for sure. What I would do with this, I I would lean away from writing too much. Um, I personally am not keen on the taste of it, like in certain areas where like it's it is old school RPG in a way with your snakes with tits and your genders with different abilities and stuff like that. But you do you. You're allowed to make that game. That's fine. There's people who will love it. That sort of thing, not for me. But that's just me. That's just me. That aside, um, I I think you want to. I think writing is going to be a weakness, so I think you want to limit the amount. I think you want it to get out of the way. I think you want to have your conversation with the king be about 2 text boxes long that simply tells you what you need to do and where you need to go. You need a conversation on the bridge where bandits attack you to be bandits are attacking you, and that's it. 24 chapters. And how long and how much of that demo of what I just played there was like what's that in relation to a chapter? And only 5 are written, so you haven't actually written them all yet. Okay. I like a lot of what is here. I would see it like if you're doing a big story thing, like all the customization would seem a bit much. You want to lean one way or the other. 75%? Right, so that's like 75% of a chapter, and there's 24 chapters. Okay. Those are quite short chapters. So there's a weird structuring. I really think lore is going to be your weakness. I think you want to err on the side of short text, get out of the way, because I think systems are going to be your strength. I think you put a lot of time and love into the different character classes and things like that, and your different systems, and you're swapping between the things and making all that feel nice and good and stuff. And there's a lot of cool stuff here. I think you want to focus. I think your time is best spent there on getting all that stuff good. I think your writing is going to get in the way. I think you need to. It's hard to tell as well because you've got these like 2 different ways of bringing you in, but like I think it needs slightly better tutorializing, slightly less reliance on the player having played every JRPG under the sun before coming to this game. A slower build-up, maybe not have 4 characters right from the get-go. Especially 4 characters with 4 unique classes that each have like at least 3 abilities and a whole bunch of items you can use just right out the gate. It's a bit much for right away. Which made the ATB thing feel really fast, but I don't know if it actually felt fast or if I just felt overwhelmed by the amount of stuff that was going on. So I was just like, pick an option quickly. Oh, someone says dead. Oh god, what's going on? It felt like I was a bit out of control with it. Like I got through it fine. Like the numbers were clearly like set up so I could get through it okay, but like I didn't really feel very in control of any of the combat that was going on. It felt like I was just sort of doing stuff. Maybe that would have been better if I did it with the turn-based thing, But nonetheless, I feel like there's just a few too many options, and it didn't show me what any of them were going for. Like it was just like cure, you know what cure is, right? And sure enough, yes, I do. But then you've got things like poison, lunge, brag, and a bunch of other stuff that like maybe I'd know more of if I'd have played more and more and more RPGs. But I didn't know much of there. Like I was just like, maybe this one's good. What's one that hits everybody? That's probably good. And it's just sort of throwing darts at a wall when it came to the combat, right? If I pick the express mode in the game is customizable, I have a one pick scenario, I get named characters and more story. Yeah, this is the thing. I think I get that you want to provide that option because those are two styles of RPG, and your game idea seems to be all styles of RPG in one. I think I would just lean on your customizable one. If I were making this game, I would cut the other option entirely out. I would strip the whole of it out. And I would just go for your customizable one where you name the characters, do all the customization and that kind of thing, and go and aim to create a complete experience there. Otherwise, as you're developing these side by side, you're going to make decisions which are already very clearly present here that are designed to be advantageous for one without really realizing the effect it's having on the other, and you're going to get this weird milk toast blend of like an okay experience, but kind of this thing is like this, but it had to be that way to make the other experience good, and so on. Otherwise, it'll either end up like that, or you are literally developing two entirely different games, like simultaneously, entirely differently. Because there's compromises that you would make, there's choices you would make that are binary one way or the other choices, design-wise, that would be better for express mode and better for scenario mode. That you're going to end up striking a middle ground on if you try and do both, and that middle ground's not going to feel as good. Or you're going to lean the wrong way, and one mode isn't going to feel as good at that bit. And if it's two games, then the answer to the straw poll is absolutely yes. You've massively overscoped. Don't make two. You can't market a game as two games. Like, I don't think that's what. Maybe you'll prove me wrong. I don't know. Come back in a year with your released game and be like, look, see, we made millions. You were wrong about everything. But I'm just giving you my honest opinion that I would pick one. The one I would lean on is your express one because I think that's where your design strength lies. I think the writing and the story is not where it lies from what I've seen in this demo at all. And I think I would lean into that, put all your time and attention in that. There's a lot of room in my heart and in my brain to play a game that is like that. I don't think the other one has a lot of legs, frankly. And I think if you try and do both, you're going to weaken each one for the sake of making the other one fit. That's my honest opinion there. But nonetheless, a lot more impressive than I was expecting from the description of just being JRPG demo version. That brings to mind a lot of tropes from what a lot of people do submit. That is way massively overscoped. You're doing well with the construction of this so far. It looks good. It's very consistent art style, consistent aesthetic, a lot of really cool systems and stuff. But I think you're walking down a dark road that could, yeah. From everything you're saying in chat, it feels like you've already made up your mind and absolutely nothing else. You were never planning on taking any feedback I said seriously on board, so you keep on doing you. Glad you got it shown on stream, I guess. It feels like you're not really engaging with anything I'm saying, so fine. You just do your thing, make your game. Good luck with it. It seems very nice. Thank you for that one. Let's move on. This is another game from you? TNU Universe Explore demo. Super early sandbox universe game. I mean, I'll let you submit this again next time, but I don't really want to do two games from the same person in one stream, so we're going to skip over this. I mean, I never said that as a rule or whatever, so like I'm not dicking on you for doing that. But I just don't want to, so I don't want I want to set that as a precedent for then someone to come in and like submit their whole library of games, like, so I just want to be reasonable and say only one game per person per stream. Next up we got inkedsplat's game, which is called Voider. Puzzle platformer about destroying blocks. Void just slight misspelling in the Xe name. Munching your way through cosmic cheese. Alright. I think I have room for one more game. Hang about, we'll see how I feel when I get through these last two. Well, I've lost the folder now. There we go. Can we full screen? We can. Z or W to jump, my child. Look at the talking lips thing over there. Man, your style is getting weirder and weirder. I dig it. I dig it. This creepy floating mouth in the sky. X to munch on the cosmic cheese. Okay. I'm gonna press R though because I assume. Hold up and press X to fire your beam of mass destruction. Okay, we've got to like build a thing to get there. I don't know what the formula on the corner is telling us. The universe is a cylinder. Okay. Why couldn't I? Oh, because I stop where the beam. Okay. Interesting. You can only do that when you're on the ground. How does it, like, is it just when I get within a certain distance the mouth opens up? Okay. Oh, have I doomed myself? Okay. This is a cool concept, I like this. Alright, so we can, right. Ah. Oh, god damn it. Ah, it's quite hard. Oh, can I like... Aha. It's really high up. Although, can I like... Nice. Just for pro gamers, I imagine so. I don't really know. 2 minus 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. I mean, that's an accurate statement. And there's blocks that I can't chop through. This is cool though, like it's probably my favorite game I've seen from you. Like I only remember like you had another like platformer thing ages ago. That was good. It's well thought out. Composition's a little weird. Like it feels like it's like area at the bottom of the screen. I'm like, might just be the art style. Just feels a little weird, like that dark space beyond the tiles. You know, just almost feels like the game window is like up a bit, just like in composition wise. Nah, man, no jump buffer. It's probably too low, isn't it? No, just about. Christ. I feel like there's probably multiple solutions to some of these. Like, I'm not sure if that was the intended solution. The golden cheese? Okay. Thank you for playing. Your final score is 34. Your score is determined by the amount of cheese eaten minus the amount of actions taken. Right, I see. That's what it was about for pro gamers. I like it was just kind of unexplained. I was just like, what is this weird math thing in the corner? And then it tells you when you've beaten it. I like that. I think that's quite smart in a way that I don't know how intended this was, but like, you don't know what it means, so you don't worry about it. Because what could it mean? If I knew what that meant from the beginning, I might have cared more, and I'd been like, "Oh, how do I make it so it's as little as possible, or whatever." Or I might have at least like held that in my brain somewhere. Whereas like that's more of like a thing for if you replay it, right? And you want to like see if you can do better. I mean, like, oh, and only really revealing how that works at the end, I think is quite smart. The art style is really nice and consistent, coherent, very cool. Pretty flat, a lot of flat color in it, but I think it works. Like the text box was very basic, and like the background, like just this like flat blue, and there's this weirdness I mentioned with the composition of it, like feeling like lifted up a little bit, just as a result of this like solid color at the bottom. Generally speaking, it's super good. How do I come out of it? Alt F4. Alt F4 always works. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you're getting increasingly experienced with making tile sets, though. I could see just a little bit of like the pokey poke style, like just like the sharp bits on the end here and stuff like that, just sort of leaking into your other work. I like that this lips thing in the sky looks proper cool. And then whatever this thing is meant to even be looks really cool. Bleeding into your eye. It's good. We all buying splat. What else? What was the other one I played by you? I think it was this one, maybe. Yeah, you can see the style here as well. Yeah, no, that's really, really good. Like, you should be proud of that. Like, that has everything it needed. Like, especially if it was for a jam. Like, yeah, a mini jam 67. All the time spent in the right places. Really nice, like, just puzzle design and stuff. It was satisfying to do. I think maybe it's like a bit open. I think there's probably like a few of those puzzles that had multiple solutions, but I don't know if that's actually a problem. Like, it felt nice to run through and play. And then, you had a few ideas, you play with them, and then it got out of the way because it's game jam. Just, here's a few ideas I had for this, and it just felt really good. It's a whale. It's a whale with massive teeth. Sure. I can kind of see that, I guess. It looks good, whatever it is. Yeah, sick. That was really, really cool. I don't really have any major criticism of it. I think it's quite good. Like, the feel was really nice on dashing through a thing and smashed apart and stuff like that. There's maybe a bit of a crutch in leaning on the rotated sprites. I think maybe you could have gone away with like a purist style, but I'm not going for that. It's fine too. I think the composition maybe could be slightly better, and the background could be more interesting. There's more interesting effects and things you could put in when you're jumping into this mouth and stuff like that. But on the whole, like for a jam, like I think you put all the time in the right places. I mean, it's just solid. Well done. Alright, Securas, who's been waiting patiently. Oh no, not another platformer. So right, this is going to be another, from what I said earlier, like tiny resolution platformer as well. But all of his platformers are great. Let's be real. So like, this is a good one to have near the end. This is just going to be, yet again, Securis throws together an exceptionally polished platformer because he was bored one weekend. And we all are frustrated. It's the process no, because, we get them out of the way and we move on, but yeah, I can see that being kind of funny. Oh, yeah, forget you're a man of the Godot. A little more than a weekend to make this one. Fair. You know what I'm seeing here that's smart is I think you're reusing stuff, right? So I feel like I've seen these fonts, I've seen these menus. I'm starting to see like the little bits of just like the same tech reused across your games, which is very smart because your tech is good and it's solid. And it works. Just making a million of these and seeing where it takes you. Yeah. It's doing it right. Okay, so immediately on seeing this, like it's beautiful because of course it is. All your stuff is beautiful, but it's also very noisy. I think just because of these trees. So at first it actually took me more than a few frames, as it were, to spot the character. Where am I in this scene? Alright, I'm over there. God, that scarf is pretty though. Is that like built-in animation or is that like physics enabled? Yeah, it's like kind of like the same, similar tech to what you used like with the hair and Daisy Dangerous. God, these look like they're just such a joy to move around in. I like the little jump sparks actually taking into account your jump direction as well. A lot of people stop, I mean I stop with just like making a thing happen. Actually getting that angle in there is cool. Is that like a mini-map in the top right? I'm actually not sure. Arrow pointing at this dude? Oh, right, it's okay, because I need that to jump higher. Interesting. Not sure when that arrow would have gone away. Is it just when I land on him, or is it only when I actually get to here? Because if it's just when I land on him, I worry that you might have people jump on him and be like, I don't get it. It's actually quite a... Because it's actually a very small distinction between your jump heights. You don't get a lot more jump height, so it's like a whole nother place down here. What am I... What's this about? There's another secrets for later nook. In fairness, if it was, I actually... This is one of the rare cases where I believe you. Not you specifically, but, you know, the developer. Empty space, forgot to remove it. Ah, honesty! I even told him I'd believe him. Okay, well I don't want to jump on this guy. Oh, but I can't go just walk through him either. I suppose I'd never actually tried that up to this point, so the only way to find out was to run into him. That is just... I think it's the scarf that makes it as well, but it's just so much the correct jump arc. It's just like, yes, that's correct. Oh, you actually do a variable jump height. I was about to be like, I'm glad there's no variable jump height and it's just one clear jump, but it actually is, and I'm just holding the button down instinctively. No! Oh, why is that possible? You should wall this off so that Sean doesn't get sad. Also, like, it just doesn't need to be here, really? Like, why would I want to jump up there? So that thing on the top right is just sort of showing me the layout of the room in a way. Interesting. How much I needed it, but it doesn't really get in the way. That's cool. The leap of faith moment is a good moment to tell me about holding down to look down. And then it's not a leap of faith moment, it's an, oh, look, there's a thing. The thing in the top right is obviously unreachable, so I don't worry too much about that. Thank you for the follow, Matthias, and everyone else. I've seen other people following. Just keep forgetting I'm usually saying something. So thank you, Bad Cop and Lazy Redbird, and anyone else who's followed along the Twitch stream. Are these walk-throughable spikes? No, okay. It's always hard to tell from the offset of, like, a game whether or not its spikes are something the player can pass through. Wow, F. Oh, all the way back here. I'm gonna say now, I haven't... it's risky to ask this now because I haven't seen a ton of the level design. But did this need variable jump height? Like, do we gain? Because so far I haven't seen a situation where I don't want to do a full jump. Hello, little pup. Oh, who's saying this? And what do I press to proceed it? Set? No. It's just time. Oh, I see like a spinning thing. But I don't know if there was a button I could have pressed. Wow. It needs variable jump height? Okay. On what basis? Press J? J? Well, but... You know what that is on the keyboard, right? J? Fire to skip. Or is that J as well? That looked like credits, or was that like an intro credits-y type thing? J? I still can't get over it. Okay. Just like hold it down. It's a little weird. It's like kind of hard to see that little scrolly thing. Like, it's not a bad mechanism, but it's... I mean, this really leans on a slow default reading speed, but I mean, I don't know. I suppose you'd want it to. Like, if you're gonna have a timer, make it really slow. But I feel like I want a quicker option to skip it than hold this down. What does this do? What does that do? Is it just some sort of... oh, time slow? In the sight of an enemy, you feel the urge to attack. Hold fire to focus your rage. Oh, and then let go of it. Okay. Zoom 2. Increase my attack range. Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna spend a lot of time just like you know? It's kind of cool how you can get right up there. Still haven't really seen evidence of this variable jump height being necessary, but I'll take your word for it for now. Is this gated off? Do I need some sort of jump tech that I don't have? Feels gated. I guess the range is the spear. I mean. Oh, that's an extreme time slow. That's weird, like it was within the circle there, but didn't quite. Okay. Cool water. I didn't realize it was water until I saw my reflection, though. So it's like quite similar color. Like the blue shading on it is very subtle. I feel like the hold to focus your rage is like a little misleading because it's like implies I'm charging something when this goes up or whatever, whereas it's just like that's the time that I have to let go of it. I'm not sure what better words might have been good, but I feel like there are better ones out there. No. I like get a jump after I do an attack, don't I, it seems. I love this character, like just a little Red Riding Hood style figures. Just looks really nice. And if it weren't for the red trees, honestly, like, even though they're really pretty, I think they, in a way, are a bit of a weakness in that Makes it hard to find the character in the scene sometimes. Despite having a really clear character, like an aesthetic and stuff, I just think, I don't know, maybe if those trees are a different color or something. Like, it looks amazing when I'm over here in like the cavey bits or against the sky. The moment I get to be against this red, it all just feels a little bit dizzier. And like, I just don't really get to see any of this like cool detail and stuff. Because it's all just sort of moving against like an identical background. Very bright red there, unusual choice of red. Take it to the altars. Where were the altars? Hello, thing. A wolf within me. Alright, sure. Okay. So that's ungated that snowy bit. Good level bit right away. That's cool. So I've just got an ability where I can run into walls. I come in here and then immediately I'm going to hold left and just fall down here. And I'm probably going to fling myself right into that wall and see the effect immediately in action. Well done. That's good. It's very smart. Immediately have to use it a bit there. Oh god. Although now I feel like I'm back. This area is a bit messy to me because I'm just like, oh god, I'm a bit paralyzed. Because look at the screen right now. There are like 1, 2, 3, 3.5 like exits to the screen. Like, let alone the room, right? The room, oh, the room has 3 exits you can see in the top right, but it's like, so just a little bit like, it's hard to avoid these kind of areas in Metroid-y type things. But like, I find personally, it might just be a personal taste thing now, but like just open areas, like that are very ledgy, and just like a lot of open sky to just be like mentally intimidating. J was a weird choice, but I have to admit it doesn't not work. God dang it! Oh god, where was I saved? Oh, the way. For the significance that one hit has on you, I feel like the saves feel very few and far between. Like, by the time I get back to the place I made the mistake, I've probably forgotten what that mistake was and stand a pretty good chance of making it again. Like that. I think I basically get the idea here, and I'm probably going to leave it here, as cool as this is, and as much as I wish I had the time in my life to play a ton of every game and so on. I'm sure there's a bunch more interesting. There's 2 whole more crystals that probably give you cool more abilities and so on. I think I'm going to leave this one here. I think the map is good as well. It's really good. Like, it's obviously really good. I don't think I need to tell you much about what's good about it. I think it's pretty clear. There's little things along the way like this, the color of the trees and the character. I think my biggest problem with it is honestly the text stuff, like the little twirly thing. First off, it was a little hard to see the twirly thing and like even work out how that works. There's no indication of pressing J would do anything with it as well, but that's the minor thing. The major thing with it is that it you have to hold it to progress the message for quite a long length of time. To the point where I almost want to be like pre-holding it almost when I start reading it, because I have to read it, finish reading it, and then I finish reading it. So the time between me finished reading it and just holding the button and watching a thing is just dead time of me watching a thing spiral. And it can make conversations feel really, really slow when I have a higher reading speed and I'm capable of just getting through these things a lot quicker. So I would prefer the ability, like, to be able to skip or make that fill up way quicker than it does. By pressing the button there. I get it's like you already had like a scaling thing. It's like, oh, it makes sense to just like sort of speed it up if we hold the button, right? Because I think if when you press the button it skips, that allows you to set your own pace. Because if you're a slow reader, you've given you a lot of time with that. Honestly, I don't reckon you... Like, if you're going to have a time that slow, why even have a timer on it? Anyway? Why not just have it be a press to progress, right? I get there's quite a lot of effort to like go into that cool effect, and I can see where the idea maybe came from, but I feel like it's innovative in a way that nobody needs or asked for. Does that make sense? Like, if you're a slow reader, then you just take your time reading it and just like give them as much time they need, right? Just press to progress it is probably a sensible way to do it. Low save points was like a little bit of an issue, yeah, but again, other than that, the level design is super good, I think. There's little bits of it that are just like, oh, there's a bit too open, or this is a bit like there's some unnecessary little bits are a little confusing, but like that's just a case of iteration. I don't question you had the ability to go over that stuff and make it better. I can't really think of any other major criticisms. I think it's really good. And the text is, yeah, the text is probably the weakest thing. Not really a difficult one to solve. Like, I'd buy and play this. Like, it's good. Like this is I think that's one of the stronger things you've submitted, and that's like a high bar. That's really good. Yeah, thanks for that. That was super good. That was a good last one. Someone asked if we have time for another one. I'd say we do. It's only 4:30. In fact, you know what? I'd take like three, maybe 4 more. I'm gonna open this up. If we get a flood in, I don't promise we'll do them all, but I'm gonna go to the toilet. I'm gonna come back. We'll play whatever's there. So if anyone wants their game playing, they have a game, they're like, I missed the submission time. What? Get it in now real quick. And one, fair enough. Bad cop. I swear there was someone else. There was someone else asking earlier. Maybe I wasn't gone very long. Well, now is their moment, and if they're not here, that's just how it be. I'm scrolling, but I can't see who it was. Oh, King Javo. King Javo, if you have me open in a tab somewhere, now is the time to submit your game. Cavedens? Henze didn't take feedback, and it didn't seem like he was really engaging with what I was saying. Felt a little bit just like, yeah, whatever. About it. You know when you give someone feedback that you think is really important, but you feel like they're just gonna do their thing anyway. Which is if you have that confidence, you have that confidence. Yeah, the stream is dropping some frames, but I think it's catching back up now. I think it's restabilizing. Are we stable again? I think we're stable again. Yeah, we just went up from 200 to 2000 drop frames over a few seconds, so a bunch of frames got lost, but that's fine. You know what? We got these three in. That's what we're gonna do. So, Bad Cop, Cavedens, and LtCoyote. Congratulations. We're gonna play those 3 games, and then we'll be done. Yeah, it felt a little bit that way. But you know what? If you don't respect the feedback, then fair enough. You know, you might just think I'm talking a load of rubbish. That's a reasonable point of view to have. I obviously don't agree with it, otherwise I wouldn't give the feedback. But I don't know everything. Anyway, this seems like a simple first one. Rolly Cubes, Bad Cop, browser-based multiplayer game. All right, everyone in. Bad Cop's hosting a lobby. I am user 2. Oh, was I meant to make a name? Hang on. How do I not be user 2? Oh, okay. Each roll, I may add or subtract the total value shown on dice from your score. Winning scores these amounts. But how do I go from 0 to higher amounts? Oh, I may add or subtract. Okay. How do I roll? Oh, it's doing a thing. How do I... Oh, that's what... Oh, right, now it's my turn. There's a lot of users suddenly joined. 7. Oh, each dice as well. Yeah, 7 seems solid. $11? 8 is max. Oh, well, a number of players, right? I was like, it's definitely not max score. Reset. If you match a player's score, they are reset to 0. Oh, wow, bodied user 3. Oh, it's only if I roll a 7 I can split the dice into 2, right? Doubles, you must roll again. These are weird, seemingly arbitrary rules. I can't really work out the mathematical intent of some of this. You know, if I match a player's score, like, it's like overall score rather than like whatever I get on the dice. So I got 10. So I could just go to 17, or I could subtract 7, or I could subtract 10 and go to minus. Well, I guess I don't know much. I kind of wish I had the option of doing both dice regardless of what I roll. I feel like it was a bit more interesting. Like I could be like, ooh, I could get to this higher number, or I could get to the same number as this guy and reset his score. Reset to 0 is harsh. Like we have to get really far. Why would you go for 6? Why any of these super hard? Oh, I guess like you might not have a choice, right? It's just you either land on 33 or you go past it. Well, oh no, I guess because you can subtract, right? So why would you go a long way past 33? Especially when you can get reset like that. Why do you use a 3 on -3? The turtle strat. No one can reset me. So I'm not going to get anywhere near the score. You should be able to go to minus 33 should be a winning score. That would be cool. A consecutive, so they're easier to hit. Oh, right, I see. 4. Yeah, I'm just going to keep adding. The biggest danger at the moment here is the Holtzy or Azrael rolls like a 10 or a 6. No, it's definitely not a 6. It's a cute little idea. I think so far, I'd like to see a bit more decision making. Like doubles just being roll again is weird, but I'm not sure if there's some reason for that. I like the 7 split into 2. I like that so much. I wish it was just the general rule, which is what I assumed it is when I first, because it was the first roll I got. 5 of 26, or we could go to 16 and reset as error as for no reason. No, it's oh wait, 26 resets Holtzy, yeah. Get wrecked. Ah, that wins. Yeah, it was just cute. Oh, I like it. I don't know what did you build this in? Is it just JavaScript? You could put a time limit on the turns for like 8 players being kind of slow and stuff, but I don't think it's too slow. Like even if someone could hold it up by like going AFK, they haven't done so far. It's like it feels like it's going all right. C++ over, fair enough. Yeah, I would like to see like I think you should be able to make the choice over both rolls each time. And just to let you, just so like it feels like you deciding like plus or minus doesn't feel like much of a decision each time. I'd also kind of like to see a winning negative score be a possibility. And I don't really get why doubles makes a reroll other than something should happen on rerolls, on doubles even. It might also be made more interesting if you rolled like more than 2 dice. You know, I think you could expand it, make it more complex, and just sort of give more choice. But the foundation here, I think, is solid. It's I mean, it's obviously rolling dice. It's totally RNG. But when you've got an RNG thing, you know, you got to think of it a bit like Catan, where you've got RNG. Oh, lol, bodied. You've got RNG, but throw in just statistical choices that people can make. You know, just you want to make people be able to pick between this and that and make interesting choices, even if the game is still ultimately decided by dice rolls. You want players to be able to gain a statistical edge through their decision making and be able to feel smart, you know, and be like, "Oh, I do this, and therefore I'm more likely to do this," and so on and so forth. Well, I'm trying to avoid too specific a suggestion. I mean, I know I've given a bunch of specific suggestions, but like, I don't want to avoid. I don't want to give you too many because I'd like to just see you explore it yourself. But I think the foundation you have here, as I said, is very solid. I think you could expand upon this a lot in quite very, very simple ways. Just really using mechanisms that already exist to just add more possibilities and more decisions and more things. Oh, I must roll again, but I still get the roll. Okay, yeah, that is very classic. Not very interesting, but it's classic. Does 10 do anything? Does 6 do anything? Neither does anything. So we'll plus. Do I want a big lead? Oh, Alex is at 35. Did I? I must have got reset at some point, right? Big leaps to 21 though. It's decision in which winning range to target. Kind of, yeah. Yeah, I can see that being a little bit. It feels like a very, like, you're trying to work out which is the 55% chance of winning versus the 45% chance of winning, if that makes sense. You know, like, it feels like you're not, it's very limited impact. I don't know because I haven't played it, but that's what I suspect that feels like. Yeah, yeah. The 7 is the most interesting one. Because then it's like, ooh, I could do this, and then like you can combine the results in interesting ways. Um, I'd like to be able to do that with all the dice. But again, that's like trying to get out of the habit of giving really specific examples of solutions. But that does convey the spirit of the type of thing I'd like to see in this. It's cool. Well, I'll play this until somebody wins. You guys can obviously keep. Oh, someone did just win. Who just won? Oh, no, won. I was on 31 or whatever as well. God damn it. How many more of these we got? We got 2 more games to play. So I don't think I have anything else interesting to say about this. But let's try Slash Dark. Cool. But I don't want to go AFK like and start playing other games while other people are playing this. How do I? Is there a way to just like leave the game or anything like that? Because if I just AFK, it's kind of ruins everyone else still just playing. If I just close the thing, do I leave the game? Oh, if I close the tab, you can kick you. Okay, cool. All right, you guys have fun. I like that. Oh yeah, that's cool. It was probably a good little learning thing while you were making it as well. And I think there's more legs there than maybe it looks at first glance. I think you could probably do a lot with that. It's really good. I enjoyed that. And then became red, right? Makes sense. The socket disconnects. Untitled underwater games. Or game. Mixture of mini games going to go into a bigger game. Okay. I've got an alert on Discord. What's this about? Inbox. Okay, so these are a bunch of water-related mini games of some description. Spearfishing. This is like a pseudo 3D look. Pixel sizes are all over the place here, but if this is just a prototype mini game, then I guess there's room to make that not the case. Atlantean Minute. It's like a timer or something, but it's just dropping one per frame anyway, so or something like that. Collect fish, squid equal plus 25 score. Why would I do the stab one? I can't reach. Nothing comes close enough to reach with the stab. Oh, we got randomly got a squid just because it happened to come onto the screen. Time's up. 2 stars. Okay. Collector. Do I have to stick a thingy out? Oh, right, for each. We kind of want to avoid all the trash, I'm guessing. Gems plus 1 score, pearls equal plus 1 life, trash equals minus 1 life. Okay. I'm guessing this is very, because it's just prototypey, but obviously a tutorialization of just some text in the bottom left is a bit rough. I guess I can't get. Oh, pearls give plus 1 life as well, okay. Oh, but we appeared at just doesn't matter. Oh no, maybe that wasn't a pearl. Stretch out both hands. Do we actually have to stretch out the hands for these then? It looks like you do. But you don't have to stretch out the hands for the other things. Nah. You get that it's like a thing for the player to do, but mechanically not very significant. I don't know, I don't hate it. Yeah, it looks funny. Something like that, yeah. Mixels with all the rotation and stuff. I think it's not too bad here actually. Does this one just go on forever then? If it does, it kind of needs to scale in difficulty. It seems like it's just kind of the same. Because eventually you could hit that point where you can just sort of go on forever, right? Match. It's the crab. Will Turtle do anything, or is he just here? He's just sort of here. Oh, each tries plus 1 score, right? I see. Two stars. Test. Oh gosh, this one feels a bit much. Mechanics, testing, controls. Okay, it's probably something else. This doesn't really feel like a mini game. Flappy. Okay. It's hard to tell what here is placeholder and what isn't. Like how much of this is like prototyping, just the feel mechanics and stuff like that. So I'm not really going to talk much about the artwork and stuff here because I don't really know. Because like a lot of it like very obviously doesn't match, and it's hard to tell if that's like, you know, like these dolphins. These dolphins, these big like whale things. Like I don't like the killer whales or whatever they are. Don't really match the pixel art, and there's a lot of scaling issues and things like that. I'm just going to say that those issues exist and not really talk any more about them because I don't know how much of this is just for prototyping sake. The oncoming lane. But mechanically, like they're all functional. This one, like I don't really get the stabbing thing feels pointless. Like nothing comes close to be stabbable, so they come close sometimes. But or do I have to like wait? No. No, everything is like just on the edge. Oh, we got one. But it's not like it gives you any more points or anything like that. Just throw the thing. It's alright, but like it feels like I'm guaranteed to basically get a hit every time, right? Because there's quite a lot of fish. The spear is quite big. So it feels like I don't really know how I would distinguish like a performance from another one where I just right click every time I can, right? That just feels like it's the fastest it's going to be. Some fish are worth different points, it seems like, so maybe that's it. I'm prioritizing the ones that are worth a lot. And then there's the squid shows up very quickly, which I got kind of lucky with last time. So there's bits of it there, but generally speaking, I think, like, I don't know, make it a bit harder to hit, like a bit less of them, so there's like any chance I could miss. Might be an idea, and also the stab doesn't really do anything. The match one is fine, it's just a match game and it works. Generally some more feel stuff might work well. I don't know, better animation on some of these things. I like just the random turtle coming in, it's kind of cool. But mechanically, you know, this works. It's a match game, is what it is. The collecty thing needs to scale in difficulty. It's just kind of the same throughout. Or something needs to happen. It's just this for a really long time. It's also alright, generally alright. The flappy thing similarly feels like it's mostly just the same for a long length of time. Maybe it does scale and I just didn't really notice, but it felt that way. Be careful with your hitboxes as well. You want that to feel very clear and feel like that. Apparently I died, but did I just like skim the top of that thin there? It's a little unclear. You want to err on the side of like it being too forgiving rather than not forgiving enough. But most importantly, you just want it to be clear. That's my main feedback regarding these. It's really hard to say a lot else without knowing a lot more than I do. The context behind this, what it's built for, and that kind of thing. But I think those are the most useful things I can say about this. Cool. Yeah, they all basically work, right? They all basically do what you want them to do. So good job. Last up, when it wants to load, we got LtCoyote's The Duel. I know it's a couch versus game, still can be played by one person for testing reasons. Okay. Legendary Quest of Sandor Rotsa, The Duel. In this couch versus game, 2 players run and jump through a trap-filled obstacle course and try to reach the golden pistol first. The only way to obstruct your opponent is if he or she enters a part of the map where there's an electric grid in the background and you happen to be near a big red button. Okay. Yeah, it's going to be really hard for me to give much useful advice, I think, on this. Because there's probably quite a lot of room for useful feedback, but one person is probably not ideal. Nonetheless, we'll take a look. That's cool. Cool intro. These clouds look nice. This whole screen looks nice. So again, like there is mixeling with like the rotating text and stuff, but I think it's worth more than it costs, you know, in terms of the look, and it's very coherent, clean, crisp, and looks good. Hardness level. That's what. I've never heard difficulty referred to as hardness level before. Defaults to easy. Left and right side. Can we play both at once? Okay. God damn it. Oh, that's a big jump. What? How do I, like, I don't have enough, I can't do, I know it's showing me the arc, but that's not the arc unless I'm moving at full speed. That's a really low acceleration. I feel like you could use a lot higher acceleration. Like that, you can only just make that like full velocity. Oh, god damn it. Is this just weird? Okay. Weird level design there. God, that's a super high. Oh, I thought that was like the thing then. It was like, it said it was a golden thing we were after, right? Getting all these slopes to work is impressive. Death sequence is a little rough. Bit slow. What's the score? Is like the checkpoints or whatever? Right, hang on. Why is this level weirdly non-linear? Like, what's all this space? Why can I be over here? These weird long stretches of spikes in areas I just don't want to go to. The level design's very strange. I was expecting a lot, like, I mean, it basically is linear, but I was expecting it to... I don't know. Oh, would that do something to the other person or something? About what this electric field is or whatever. No. But then I'd have to like commit to doing that and just sort of screen watching the other person and just doing a weird like turtle camping thing. That isn't really gaining me any ground but might bring them back to the same position I was at to press the button. I guess it's useful if you get there just after them. Like they're just ahead of you. God, this is long. Oh my god. No. Yeah, that was a stupid bit. What's down here? Why? Whatever. Too much extra space and weird, like, misleading dead ends and things, I think. Oh my god, I can't get off the ladder. It's like sucking me back in. Oh my god, I nearly jumped into it again. Oh, thank Christ. So, what? I'm careful because I have a lack of horizontal vision due to the nature of the game. It's a big impact on your level design. We got the pistol! Well, that's it, I win now, right? My score just scaling to infinity. Okay. Okay, right, I get the idea. The level design needs work. The controls in general are way too slippery. Like this is a super high jump. That's totally unnecessary. You don't need a jump that goes this high. All right, that's just like. I know I have a lot of vertical space in a way, so it's like I can see a bit higher than I would normally be able to in a platformer, I guess. But like, yeah, I wouldn't. Why? I don't need to be able to jump all the way this high. I need more horizontal acceleration. Like this, it feels like I'm accelerating a truck. You know, like. Takes forever to get going, and therefore to have like any, it's like that same issue again, that other platform. You know, you've got a jump arc that looks like this, rather than like this or like this. It looks like this, and like yeah. Where's it gone? Can't even find the game now. The art's really nice. The art is generally like really nice. The feel of things is a little weak though. Like I really like that respawn thing could be faster. I know that has an impact on the game balance and stuff because of like how like the things are meant to cause a setback, so it gives the other player a bit of time to catch up and that kind of thing. But if it's going to be slower, it needs a prettier effect than that. So like some consolation of experience there, of not just sitting through watching freeze frame flashing for like a while. It's better than nothing, but like it could be better still, Ugh. But yeah, just the controls do not feel as good as they need to feel for this kind of game that is entirely about them and entirely about just navigating a level. Like that needs to feel insanely good for this to work because it's the whole game. So you need like all these little sparks that come off when you're moving. I can see some of them in there, little clouds of something coming off, but it's very subtle. Yeah, the camera is very sharp, but I think it's a natural case of just because it's trying to keep up with the player that moves so erratically and weird, like really slow, heavy movement left and right, but then you jump and it's like the force of the sun, just it's really weird. Like it's like the power of movement you have is like this weird bell curve, or just like this tiny amount of acceleration left and right, but this huge amount of acceleration going up. A little run before a long jump. Yeah, I get that. Kind of, but... you can make the jump... You can increase, like... That's already going to be a thing, because your horizontals... you could go to a higher speed and then like slowly build up to a higher one than that. You know, you don't have to start off from to get that kind of thing to happen. But like getting that out of it, like what you paid does not justify what you got. It's just a long story there. Long story short there. And there's other ways to do it that don't involve the same sacrifice. That's all I like though. I like the music, I like the art style, the general theme of it. I like the menus and stuff. A lot of it feels super polished, which is a shame because just the most important part of it, you know, the game controls and feel and stuff, is the weakest bit, when it should be the strongest and should be the thing you prioritize above all the other things that are really nice. These menus are good though, like either we can skip right to this. A lot of love here, it's good. And they're like moving very slowly towards it. What happens when they get there? Or do they just sort of stop? Just like lurping very slowly. Yeah, they just sort of stop. Okay. Yeah, it was cool. I think in general, just like unless you really know what you're doing, you want a jump arc that just looks like a clean semicircle. You know? That's a combination of your horizontal movement speed and your vertical movement speed. And your gravity and all that stuff. But it's like it's both vectors and taken into account that create that, right? Well, all three really. It's that and that create the amount you go up, the amount you come down, how far you go. Jumping from place without any movement, then like I guess you're gonna get like half of that, right? Would you? It depends like how much movement control you've got in the air and that kind of thing as well. What creates that? You could do something like that, or like half of it, or maybe a quarter of it, depending on the feel of your game. If you can do that, yeah, you can do that with just the amount of air control you actually give yourself. Yeah, but like the way you get there is by like, yeah, lower jump for a start, and the way you get longer in distance is well, like your length of distance is okay once you have once you have that run up, but then like your arc changes from this to this, right? And it's just absurd. Whereas you want something more just like that. So like that means like your maximum speed like is kind of like all right, probably. It's hard to tell just off the cuff, but probably about all right. It's just you need to get there quicker because I have to spend like a full second running just to get past this kind of jump arc to something that looks like this or like this. So I guess you can make it look like that when you like because you've got a variable jump height, but then I have to spend ages running to get that, you know, and press the jump in a very specific way. Oh, I don't know. I don't think Super Mario is a good example, honestly. The modern ones maybe more so. old Super Mario doesn't feel very good. Like, I don't care how many people crucify me for saying it. It just doesn't. Hollow Knight, okay for values. They miss out a couple of tricks that you would pick up from other games. That would be good. Depends on the type of game you're going for, but if it's something actiony, yeah, Celeste is it's like the masterclass one, right? You can't really go wrong looking at Celeste stuff for that. Like, if you think about Securus's game, I can't remember what it's called now, but the little Red Riding Hood character had a jump arc that was basically that. And then you jump on a thing and it turned to something like this with a bit of extra height, right? Had variable jump height, which was apparently necessary. I didn't see it, but like to allow you to do little things like this if you needed to. And it was very small, but that's because that's what that game was based around, that kind of level design or whatever. So you're looking more at something like something like that. It's a bit bigger. Anyway, enough of my paint nonsense. That's all from me today. I might stream again later. I might do not viewer games, but we might do some Final Fantasy VII. Getting towards the end of my no materia run. So we might do that again in a bit, but I do want to take a little bit of a break before we do anything else. Anyway, thank you very much everyone for submitting, for watching. VOD will be up at some point or other. I need to get caught up with them. I might just try and do a whole batch at once, rather than try and release them week by week or whatever. Just so we hatch them up. And I might see you all a bit later if anyone hangs out to watch some FF7. If I do that, I don't know, I might decide I can't be arsed in a bit and play some other games, Diablo with friends or something like that. But I might see some of you in a bit. Otherwise, I'll see you next Friday. If you haven't seen already, I put out a new video today, new tutorial video showing you how to save and load game data in a pretty much universal way, just using structs and arrays. Probably the last tutorial on that kind of thing you'll ever need. So if you want to know how to save and load data, it's probably the one-stop solution for it. So go check that out if you haven't. Thanks, guys. See you later.